I'm also happy to talk about heroes, people who work incredibly hard to make a difference in their lives. And we've spoken this week about many different things. We spoke about power last night and standing in a place of power, how we all have it all the time. And we often feel disempowered when we walk in to a grocery store and we see people filing out with toilet paper all over the place. We feel disempowered in that moment because of the fact that, oh my goodness, what can happen? And how disempowerment is always wrapped around fear. It really is. We talked about power and how we can carry it around with us all the time and how that stand starts to look. And I was introduced to a gentleman just today who has taken a stand. And from what I have seen so far, and I look forward to the conversation, that stand is 100% powerful. On the phone right now is Kelsey Mercer from Band Together Community co-founder. Now, Kelsey is sharing stories about all kinds of different things. And when we look at the pressures that we go through, and I'm talking as simplistic as walking into the grocery store and seeing people haul out all kinds of packages of toilet paper, that stresses us. That causes a physiological reaction in our bodies. It does. And then imagine on top of that, you're worried about money. Imagine on top of that, you've had post-traumatic stress disorder. Imagine on top of that, you suffer from depression. Imagine on top of that, your marriage is failing. Your kids aren't doing so well in school. Maybe a divorced mom or divorced dad doesn't get to see their kids. Maybe it's something that you struggle with all the time. And here we are talking about COVID-19. While there are many more things going on in the world, and those things can be compounded by what we're seeing today. Thanks for joining me here on the program, Kelsey. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Shane. Really appreciate it as well.
Band Together, a community to help people with mental health. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, we all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. So basically how we started the Band Together community was unfortunately through my own mental health crisis that I had about a year and a couple months ago. And it was through that time that I really started, with my wife, started to experience the power of sharing my story of how mental health really just rocked my world and opened my eyes to a lot of different things that I really wasn't empathetic or sensitive towards previous to that. So what my wife and I ended up doing after coming out of there and really seeing the power of community is we ended up starting and launching bandtogethercommunity.com. It was launched last month, so beginning of February. And I do think it's so appropriate, as you were just talking about, just even the time that we're in right now with the amount of fear and uncertainty that's out there, that we have a place that we can go to really support our mental health. So the vision of Band Together Community is to provide a safe and supportive online mental health community committed to reducing the effects of shame, stigma, and isolation and replacing it with hope, solidarity, and belonging. So we have basically three key ways in which we support that vision, and we can talk about those if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why don't you tell me each one of them? I'm curious where they come from, and then we'll dig into some of the stories and examples of the sharing, because it's not only just a website with great ideas and links. It actually gives, I think, the space for people to sit in what is sharing and realize that they might have their own contribution.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of times when we talk about mental health, it becomes socially acceptable to talk about mental health at certain periods of the year. But that conversation needs to be had every day, and opportunities to share and experience that sense of solidarity and belonging need to happen. The first thing that we have as part of the website that you kind of referenced there is an ability for people to go in and anonymously share their stories. And that's powerful because...
I'm just losing you on the mic there, Kelsey, if you wouldn't mind just adjusting the phone.
Yeah, are you still there?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Hey, sorry about that. So yeah, the first part that we have is a anonymous sharing portal. And so people can go in there and share their stories anonymously. It's submitted. We receive the story. We take a sentence out of the story and create that as the title and post it directly to the website anonymously. So currently we have 47 stories up on our website after being launched for just over a month. And it truly is inspiring stuff to read through some of the stories. And really, most importantly, to be able to connect with stories that you can relate to and have that sort of shared human experience where you can be inspired and create that expectancy and hope for the future.
Can I read one of these headlines that you have on the rotating banner? Can I read that?
Absolutely, Shane.
It's number 47, and it says in quotes, "The man who used to save people, he's gone. He's missing. It's just you and me now, whoever you are. Changing reflections. I was once a firefighter, ALS paramedic. I loved the crest on my shoulder. I used to stare at its reflection in the mirror, admiring the reflection I saw back. I loved helping people, caring for people, making a difference, and it goes on and on and on. These are profound stories, and these are deep shares.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's powerful to not only share yourself, but it's powerful to read the story and to hear the story. And like I said before, to have that shared experience, because I think going back to our vision, we really want to reduce the effects of isolation, especially like right now when we're in these times of, self-quarantining and all these different things.
Yeah, we're actually telling people to isolate themselves.
Exactly. It's a great way to be able to still have that human interaction, that human connection, and not lose that. Because it is so important.
So what are the other fundamental pieces of this? Because when we look at what you have here, you have the connect portion, right? You have the share your story. You have the wear your story. Help us understand the different pieces.
Yeah, so the second part, and going back to our vision, we thought to ourselves, okay, how can we support the vision by reducing the effects of stigma and shame and creating solidarity and belonging? And so we thought, okay, band together is our name. What if we had a band or a bracelet? Seems simple enough, but currently we offer 3 colors of bands: blue for anxiety, green for PTSD, and orange for depression. The 4th bracelet we have is the Overcomer bracelet, which is purely white. And basically these colors are just an externalization of some of the struggles that we go through, the illnesses that we face. We have plans on introducing other colors so that everybody in the mental health community can have their voice heard. And what the band represents is each color represents certain meaning, basically from the color wheel. But each band has 3 white beads in the center, signifying that even though we're struggling and we're fighting these daily battles, whether it be anxiety, depression, PTSD, we're all overcomers at our core, and we have a community around us that's there to support us. So it is sort of that external reminder that I'm fighting every day, but I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to keep fighting, and I have a community of support.
It sounds to me like there's a piece of sort of acknowledging the cycle, but still breaking the cycle.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's power in that. Again, it goes back to that hope and expectancy for the future. So part of the proceeds, what's really cool is we so often talk about mental health. Positive, conversations and uplifting talk is important, but at some point we need to do something to educate as well as fix some of the problems. So part of the proceeds actually go to support making counseling affordable. So our eventual plan in the future is actually to offer online counseling on our website that is partially subsidized as well. So trying to address some of the problems that exist for a large portion of the population within the mental health community. Mm-hmm.
And cost is clearly a big one for some people.
For sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, I was just going to talk about sort of the last portion of our website, and that's connection. So we have share your story, wear your story, and then get connected. And so what getting connected looks like for us, we've created a few different ways that people can basically join the band or get connected, so to speak. We have community forums, which are a safe place to just have general discussion with other people that have created profile. We have forums that are broken down into mental health struggles or illnesses. We'd love for people to check those out. We have blog content that's updated every Monday. Currently, we have contributors to that content. We have a registered dietitian working with us to talk about the effects of food on our mental health. We have a clinical counselor working with us, and we're looking to grow with other experts that can hopefully kind of build into our community to offer true support for people. And then, of course, we have Instagram and all that other stuff that's fun for people to kind of get connected with as well.
So you co-founded this with your wife?
That's correct, yes.
How amazing. A year or so ago, you were going through your own mental health battle. And so this is the question. This is the big question. And I know that this is going to be a challenge for you. But I'm going to ask you, Kelsey, tell me how amazing your wife is.
Oh, I have an angel for a wife. So supportive. Yeah, I couldn't do it without her. I mean, she's basically built this website from scratch. I'm just out here trying to market it and get exposure so that people can know that we exist, so that it can kind of go to those places where people need connection.
It's remarkable, isn't it? It
is, truly, yeah. We're passionate about it, so we're hopeful that that word gets out that we exist, because we think there is power in just this movement that we started.
Well, thank you for taking our conversation about power last night and taking it right literally onto the court of life and being able to say this is power happening right here, right now. It's encouraging for me as a guy who writes about words and is all about words and how we use words to hear you use the word power in such a way that's remarkable for me. So you've given me that tonight. bandtogethercommunity.com, bandtogethercommunity.com. Kelsey, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. we_band_together as our Instagram. We'd love to have you follow us and check us out. Thank you so much, Shane.
Thank you very much. Kelsey Mercer right there with Band Together. The website again, bandtogethercommunity.com. Story number 45, in quotes. I learned to cut my emotions on and off like a light switch, breaking down only when I was completely alone. And the story starts. It says, hey, everyone. So I'm not entirely sure where to start here. My parents weren't the best. My dad was/is an A-bleep. Most of my mom's shortcomings were in part due to the hell he put her through. Nevertheless, she didn't make things any better. Here I am. The story continues to share more of that. So these are real shares, and it's remarkable for us. 877-399-9898. That's the phone number for you. When we come back, we've got more great stories for you. Plus, I'll give you that website and so much more in case you want to get it. I'm Shane Hewitt, sitting in for Charles Adler tonight.